Welcome to the future.
Who's this clown?
Not clown. Joker.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Nobody tampers with the equipment except Tony Stark.
Good idea.
United, the Avengers are strong.
Hawkeye, hands off.
Fool! Have you forgotten my invincible magnetic power?
Not this time, Magneto.
My mutant brain senses danger.
Something unseen is slowly spreading its poisons, edging tempers.
Think carefully before you do this.
You filthy criminals.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Breaking it?
What? No, I'm not breaking it.
You
Dude, that's a very sensitive question. You don't just say, are you breaking it?
You broke everything.
Welcome to issue 82, like that using the verbiage.
The whole time.
Issue 82 of Two Fat Guys Pull Us live here on YouTube. Let's double check our levels. We're good. Everything's good. We're chilling. I'm freaking out over nothing. Anyway, how's everybody doing today? How we doing?
Gee.
Fake smile. Hi. What up, Patty? Yes, it is issue 82 or show 82 of Two Fat Guys Pull List. A little bit of an itty bitty week. I'd give it. I don't know. I don't know if I read my books too fast. But I don't really give it a high grade. I give it probably a solid C, in my opinion.
Let's see. Well,
like nothing. It wasn't just like everything wasn't just like popping off the page, if that makes sense. Like it was just kind of flat.
I give it a B- because there are two things about this week that I really enjoyed. So
okay, two things. That's good. I'd say there's two things that I really enjoyed this week, but I don't know. I've had better weeks. I've had weeks where we're just like fucking
sure.
Flawless victory, S rank. You know what I mean? Anyway, bases could be better, could be worse. Yeah, it's very true. What up, Stefan? All right, well, let's take care of some business before we get into the show. You know what we do. As you know, our show sponsor, Collected Comics and Games, has a website called brainycomics.com. We'd love for you to head over to brainycomics.com and go ahead and indulge yourself with a Two Fat Guys Pull List upgrade or premium upgrade. And you're probably asking, well, what is that? Well, what that is essentially you can go over to brainycomics.com. You can do some shopping. You know, buy yourself some comics, get a mystery bag, graphic novels, games, toys, collectibles, however you fare. And then after you get what you want, you go ahead and type in Two Fat Guys Pull List in the search bar. Our upgrades will pop up, and you add one of these to your cart. And when you add this to your cart, if you do the upgrade, the standard upgrade, you get one mystery exclusive comic cover for $8. Or if you do the premium, you get two mystery exclusive cover comics in your when you get your comics. Essentially, it'll get shipped to you. Now, the covers are freaking awesome. They get updated probably every other week. We've got this awesome Moon Knight blood or Black, White, and Blood, which I'm really digging. I'm thinking about picking it up because issue 1 has the Hickman story in it, which I really dig. You've got a Silver Surfer Rebirth too that I really like too, and the Ghost Rider, even the Miles Morales. I'm not even reading that book, and then we got some DCs down there. It's a good lot, and these are just some of them. He's got plenty more exclusives on there, and as you can tell, most of these are worth about $20 to $15. So you may get one if you decide to do the upgrade or premium upgrade. So go ahead and go to brainycomics.com, pick up some stuff. At the end of it, type in Two Fat Guys Pull List, add the upgrade to your cart or the premium upgrade, and you will not be disappointed. I promise. Ron will hook you up. I swear. I swear. So that's the first part of business that we have to talk about. And also, we are obviously in the middle of a milestone giveaway. We're on the road to 650 subscribers. When we do, we're giving away a 9.8 CBCS graded Daredevil issue number 25, second printing, the first appearance of Elektra as Daredevil. So hit that up, and then obviously we are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year, 2022, God willing. And we want to hit that mark, and we know we can because we've got amazing followers, amazing subscribers. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, give us a like, and let's get to the show, shall we?
Do it.
Let's do it. So we always talk about our X books, and we have one this week. Well, we have 2 technically, but this one is actually within
Yeah.
the realm of Destiny of X, and that is X Deaths of Wolverine, issue number 5, the end of the X Death and Lives storyline. And we were moving into Destiny of X, which next week we do get Immortal X-Men number 1. So we will figure out what's going on there. But, well, you know, it's been a basic, or not basic, but a standard opinion on this show that Deaths has been a much better book than Lives.
No doubt.
And in conclusion of this series, I think Deaths, overtook Lives, no doubt. It moved the plot forward. But now that it's concluded, I will say I feel like it was rushed. Very, very rushed. And the reason why I say that is if you've read issue number 5, obviously at the end of it, Moira comes back. She dies in the previous issue, and she comes back as a cyborg AI. She has her 11th life. And so we went from 0 to 60 with Moira being a good guy, the key, the solution, to an outcast, to a villain, to now a 100% baddie supervillain. She will see the end of Krakoa. At least that's the assumption. I mean, she wants to burn it down. She tried to do it in this book.
Right.
So overall, I feel like it was a bit rushed story-wise. And I think that's obviously very indicative of the fact that Hickman is no longer on the book, and we've gotten it feels like the X Office has his notes, and they're trying to just seed it as much as they can and put in their own spin on it at the same time. That is my current observation and or hypothesis into where the X Office is going.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I don't know. I still I still bounce back and forth with whether I should read this again as like a full story to see if maybe there's some stuff that I missed.
Mm-hmm.
And I will for sure at some point, whether I do it, Marvel
digitally
or hardcover or something like that. But I mean, overall, this issue, I like the way that they wrapped up the Moira paradox. I think that was interesting enough, and I like that we can still have somewhat of a Hoxpox dystopian future to look forward to. I know we're not going to get there, but it's something that can still be the big bad scary in the background.
Yeah, I know. And 7 says, is Moira number 1 big bad in this era? X-Men has a ton of enemies at that moment. I mean, the way this book is laid out, the way it ends, it kind of makes it feel like, like she's almost scarier than the Phalanx. I mean, she's going to hook up with the Phalanx. I mean, that's what she did in one of her lives. Like, we see it in this book, and we may have already seen the future. Like, it might be an ever-ending loop. We don't know. And that really is I think that's really the plan. I think, I brought it up when this was actually, when Inferno had ended, I brought up the fact that I think the only way the mutants can win is to go digital, is to go the way of AI or Phalanx, if they can figure out a way to do it. It seemed like we were actually kind of getting that with this Wolverine Phalanx hybrid, Wolverine Omega, and it didn't really quite pan out because if he doesn't have his healing factor, then the Phalanx can take over his body. But that still may be a key within Destiny of X. I don't know. I kind of hope it is. I would be really interested to see that. And I guess for me, I just have to turn my hopes down. I think I still haven't gotten over the fact that Hickman is no longer involved. And I'm just like holding out hope. And I guess the reason, I know, and I guess the reason why is because I know that there are good writers in the X Office right now that I really enjoy their work, and I'm just like holding out hope that they're going to carry on their teacher's work, a la Al Ewing or Teeny Howard, or now Benjamin Percy and or Karen Gillan, even though he came in late. So I'm holding out hope. I did enjoy it. I just feel like it was really rushed, and it's like if you're gonna give this a 10-issue book or 10-issue books, the Lives thing was clearly like, hey, let's catch up Wolverine so he can start a new story arc. Okay, then just release Wolverine books alongside this. Just fucking do that. Don't worry about it, and let's have a full 10-issue story of what we were doing, because that other story felt like it didn't matter a lick, in my opinion.
Yep. I totally agree.
So
I will say that the AI thing's cool. I like it. It's whatever. I hope that we do continue to lean into the phalanx aspect of it, because that means that we'll probably be leaning more into the cosmic aspect of it. And with the Marauders going to Shi'ar space, starting in issue 2 of that new book, and having X-Men Red, and having Kieran Gillen, who tends to play with the stars a little bit more, I'm very much looking forward to a space-focused 80s style Claremont X-Men.
Gary Jerry also has been playing, like, he started his X-Men run with space. They're going. I know you're not. They're going back in the next couple issues, so I will hold out hope for Gary Jerry. I think he wants to, because we have had, the first 3 issues were space oriented, and then we kind of trailed off into some other things, and then the previous, I don't know if it was last issue or the issue before, but we've got humans going into space and taking over Phobos and eyeing on Mars, and like, so there's, I think you're right. I think we are going in that direction. So yeah, you got it. So at some point, I think we are going to we're definitely going to the stars. I mean, with X-Men Red being Al Ewing's book and him just being a cosmic badass, it's going to happen. I just need to temper my expectations, I think. I need to just get over. Even though I think it's just subconsciously. I've said it, that Hickman is no longer involved. But I need to subconsciously just get over the fact that Hickman is no longer involved with this, and I need to get rid of my hope that they have some kind of Hickman notes sitting on their desks, and they have like, what's it, Spark Notes or footnotes or whatever, Spark Notes from Hickman, and they're just kind of like, all right, I'll take this idea, I'm going to plug it here. I just need to get over that and see where they're going to take it. And in my opinion, Kieran Gillen is the head of the X office. I'm going to let him be the guy until next week, proven otherwise. Let's see how good the book is. Anyway, shoot for the stars, Patty says.
Yes.
Let me catch up here. Man, I wanted to get the Godzilla and Power Rangers. Is that a book? Did that come out? Was there a Godzilla Power Rangers book?
I don't know. That one's over me.
Total Impulse Spy, and it was awesome. What did we miss? We missed something.
No, that's what I'm talking about. It's Power Rangers versus Godzilla.
Holy shit. Is that a Boom book?
I would imagine IDW, right? That's who's doing.
Oh, I guess
or maybe not. But.
I thought it was Boom. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Let's move on. It's depressing. Avengers Forever, issue number 4. Another book that has substance. God damn, my itch noses. Another book that has substance, but felt entirely too rushed. In my opinion, I thought it was cool. The idea that we were doing in this book was cool, and I wanted it to be fleshed out. And it was like, we're here, bad guys, bah! And like, Avengers 3 Forever ended with like, oh damn! Like, no matter what you do, you will end. It had a dark side kind of feel to it. Like, what's the word? Dark side is or something like that. Like, that's kind of how it felt. But it was just like Black Skull is,
Right.
And then Thor's granddaughters show up, and they're like, nah, bitch.
See, that's what I loved about it, though. Is I not only them just showing up in general, but them showing up with some damn authority. I really enjoyed that. They're one of my favorite like side parts for sure from that whole Jason Aaron run. So,
okay.
After so many years, seeing them being brought back up again, because the thought always was, how are you ever going to bring them up again, right? Like at the time. It was like, this is the future, but it wouldn't have made any sense for that to come up once Jason Aaron was done with it before.
Right.
So I was super excited to see them, and the fact that they're gonna try to piece together the Phoenix Wolverine, I think that was
pretty cool.
Hilarious.
It just felt, I liked everything about it. I liked the issue altogether. It just felt rushed. It just felt very, well, we got to get it out. We got to get to the next arc. And I'm like, no, this is how Avengers feels. And I felt like we could really flush out Avengers Forever and really like, now there are aspects. There are aspects of this book that have long-term effects, aka Avenger Prime and whoever it is, assembling Avengers from across the multiverse to fight this ultimate darkness. I'm down for it. I'm ready for it. Let's go. And I do, like you said, I do like the callback to characters from previous runs and previous storylines like Infinity Wars, and it's great. But again, it just felt rushed. Like when the last page of 3 popped, I was like, okay, we're going to get at least an issue and a half, if not more, of just badass. All hope is lost. Let's go. And it was like, nah, this is nothing. This is child's play. And I'm like, oh, come on. Like I wanted to see the Infinity thing, the Infinity Gem thing, like kick some ass. And he was like, nah, he's over here. Just put him over here. Yeah. I'm like, come on, like we got to flush these characters out.
Well, see, that's the problem with having these multiverse stories, and now we're really flooding it, and we're not doing, we're not getting anything fleshed out. We're just saying, oh, look at this cool thing. Well, it's like, yeah, I know that these artists can draw cool-looking alternate characters, but why do I give a shit about them besides they look cool?
Right, and Stefan brings up a great point, which is merchandising. We would love to see an Infinity Thing action figure. I agree with that. I want to see that. I'd buy it. Even if it was a, you got to buy all 6 figures in order to put together an Infinity Thing. I'd fucking do it. They could be just poo-poo characters, and I'd do it because I thought he looked cool.
My biggest complaint is about this, and I'm sure there's some people in our that are watching us that are tired of complaining about this, but this is issue 4. Where the fuck is Aaron Cooter? Why?
I don't know.
What's the point of even assigning an artist? Stop. Just tell us from the beginning. We don't fucking know who the artist is. Just fucking wait till the book comes out.
We're not going to win this battle, Nate. It doesn't matter how irritated we're going to get. We're not going to win. It just is what it is. I'm not saying it's right.
I got the RB Silva cover of this.
It is a dope ass cover.
Actually, I did it because I love Mantis, but
yeah, it's a dope cover.
RB Silva, so.
It's really good. And then this issue made me want to read King Thor again. I need to read it. I think I started reading it and I never got all the way through.
Read the whole run first.
I know. I understand.
I mean, you probably could, but I'm not gonna let you.
I mean, you don't know me. You don't control my life.
Literally know where you live.
That's true. Let's move on. Peach Momoko's Demon Days Blood Feud, issue number 1. This is the conclusion of her first arc, and it is confirmed that we will be getting more Demon Days Peach Momoko expanding into the Marvel Universe this summer, so I would assume either July or late August. Which, yes, please. I want it all. Really quick. Seven Says Infinity Thing had some great lines. I hope they use some of these characters later. I'm sure they will. They'll pop up for sure, especially in any Jason Aaron book, except for maybe Punisher. I don't really see that working out too well. Demon Days. Again, I liked it. Artwork, flawless. Just
A+++.
Yes, this is the pick of the week. Always will be. But it felt a little anticlimactic, a little bit for me. Just a tiny bit.
Story was very lacking, very, very lackluster. I think as far as like plot is concerned, we took 20 pages to do what could have been done in 5. And so again, this is, we're splitting hairs at this point because whatever. It was a good book. It was entertaining. I just wanted a little bit more from the plot. I wanted a little bit more than just, sister's mad, you abandoned me. No, I didn't. We're gonna fight. Oh, I killed you. No, I didn't. I'm saving you because for some reason I forgive you. Okay, wait, that's it? Oh, by the way, it's not over. She's back to her normal life, but she sees something behind her. It's like the classic, wait, is it over sort of ending? No, but like, nothing really just blew me away plot story writing wise.
Well, I will say, I did like the hint. Excuse me. The hint of more mutants. When she talks to Nightcrawler, the sister talks to Nightcrawler, and she's like, "There's more. There's more of us out there." And she's like, "Yeah, I know." So like, I liked that. I liked there being more, obviously, introductions to more Marvel characters under the blanket of Peach Momoko, which I liked it. But yeah, the ending was a little, anticlimactic. So, but the artwork, coloring, awesome.
Yeah, it's almost like manga style art would be so elevated by colors.
Jesus Christ, here we go again.
Concept. I know. I know no one ever thought of that before, and never, just.
Well, that's why Marvel, you should work at Marvel.
Marvel clearly has the right idea. I'm talking to Shonen Jump and all the other.
Okay,
companies
you
that
need to
don't
just
know.
Think it, dude. Anyway,
will never.
Michael says, "Man, I like this one. Just really confusing with where it ended." Yeah, I think they wanted to leave it open ended. I'm sure when she got to this issue, we were probably just getting issue 1 of the first one, and they were like, "Oh, this is a great idea. Let's keep going." So, I want more. I'm gonna get more. I want it to be the point where I have an entire box filled with Peach Momoko storylines rather than just like a little section. So keep it up, Peach. It's amazing. You're doing great work. I know you're watching our show, so just help us out. You're great. It's awesome. All right. Devil's Reign X-Men issue number 3. This issue just reaffirmed the fact that Emma Frost is a scary ass boss. Like you do not fuck with Emma Frost. Don't you?
That was an interesting pause you put in there.
Because I had a tickle in my throat.
You don't fuck
with Emma Stone. I didn't pause that long. Anyway.
You better give me a good reason why I don't.
Anyway.
Not real.
Full display power of Emma Frost in this book. Plot twist again. The girl that witnessed the murder, she, ended up becoming an assassin trained by Elektra. She didn't know. She gets her out of a bind. And she pulls a fast one on Wilson Fisk. And she even kind of tells the future that Fisk is probably going to be in trouble for a very long time when we finally get back to Devil's Reign. Phil Noto, killing it. Gary Jerry. Like, this is classic Gary Jerry. I think the writing in this was really good, in my opinion. I liked it a lot. I think he captures Emma's voice really well. Just that sly cattiness, but so clever. And, fuck you, I'm wearing the pants. Don't talk down to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's Emma Frost.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think I have a little bit of Devil's Reign fatigue associated here.
I could see that.
It got to the point where, I agree with what you're saying. I don't think Jerry did anything wrong. Phil Noto's artwork is killer. This felt like classic Emma. It didn't feel like she was mischaracterized, but I just didn't care. I was just like, okay, I get it. I get the point you're making. Maybe this will come up later, but probably not. So
right,
we'll keep going. And even if that girl does show up again, I'm just gonna be like, why? I got enough to keep up with. I don't need you to.
I don't need you to. Go away.
I mean, that's not fair. But I don't know. When I read this, I had to stop for a second. I got probably 6 pages into it. I had to stop and be like, just pay attention. I know you don't care about Devil's Reign, but just pay attention. Best part too is the very end, because I think that's the most classic Emma Frost, when she takes over Typhoid Mary to sort of threaten Kingpin. He's like, you better be close, and she's like, bitch, I'm literally sitting in the room.
And also props on Phil Noto for shouting out for fat guys, the side boob for or not even, it was like full on man boobie from Wilson Fisk in bed, like
straight up,
nipple, man. Just boom. So shout out to Phil for representing the fat guys out there, not to be shamed about their bodies.
Steph and I agree. This cover is talented but weird, because not only does it show his it's supposed to be, I would assume, like a reflection, like he's looking at her, right, and she's in her diamond or ice phase or whatever, but his head is in a directly flat position,
Right.
which makes it feel like she's looking at a picture or something, or a projection, and so it's kind of odd. But the
like it.
interiors are good.
It is. So that's Devil's Reign. Yeah, you're right. I think there is a definite Devil's Reign fatigue, which is very odd because we're not picking up a majority of the tie-ins, even though at the beginning we kind of started to, but then we were like, wait a minute, we're not getting stuck in this
We
trap.
realized pretty quickly, not to do that.
Get out. So this one was probably only worth, this one was, I think Devil's Reign X-Men was probably the only one worth any form of time when it came to tie-ins, because all the other ones were just straight poo-poo. Sorry.
Yep. I agree.
Next up, we have Iron Man issue number 18 from Cantwell. I genuinely liked this issue, but there was something missing. Something. I just don't know what it is.
I think we went. Yes, and I think it was I feel like we were being told, not shown, in this issue.
Okay.
And in some ways I'll give Cantwell a little bit of a break, because it's really hard, because what he is doing is portraying the inner dialogue, inner monologue, inner grappling of Tony Stark, and so it's like, how do you really show that on a panel? And you really don't, which is why we shouldn't do it as long as this issue did it. And that's a small complaint, not a big complaint. I still enjoyed the issue, but I think that's the je ne sais quoi that this issue is missing. It just felt a little telly, and it's not showy, when in comics we really need to be showing.
Right. So where do you think we're going from here? You know, is what's his name? I'm totally blanking. The villain.
Corvette.
Is Corvette going to turn a leaf? Is he going to feel morally obligated to help Tony because he's no longer empowered by the power cosmic? Where are we going?
I think this is going to be an ultimately like a morality thing, and what I think would be really cool is if somehow the whatever we call them, the Living Tribunal and Death and all of them, the overall gods of the universe sort of thing, it would be really cool if they stepped in and made like a judgment call. I think that would just be neat. But I think what will actually happen is the team will in some way find a way to, because Tony in all essence cannot fight, can't be doing anything. He's literally, the last panel is him having
Withdrawals.
From what?
Morphine
Withdrawals. And so I think it's probably going to be his moral superiority, or his moral influence over the team. They're going to rally behind him and I don't know, defeat Korvac however they do. But
yeah,
it seems to be that, like, that's what this is overall, is the morality, the twisted morality of Tony Stark versus the twisted morality of Korvac. And we're supposed to be seeing some type of redemption from Tony here.
right.
So
We'll see. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Korvac says that he took out the Living Tribunal and all them. Like,
he said he killed the two that were watching him, which was the In-Betweener and someone else. You don't kill them though; like, they just come back.
they just come back. Okay. Well, that's good. That's good to know.
It was Living Tribunal and the In-Betweener, but you don't actually kill them. They just back.
Yeah, I'm back. Well, we'll see. I thought the arc was good. I'm just kind of like, I just hope it sticks the landing. You know, it's been such a good series, and this one gave me kind of foreshadowing of, like, I don't know if I can stick the landing. So, we've been propping it up, and now if it really does stumble, I'm going to be very disappointed, because it's been a good book.
Not worried about it.
All right, next up, we have Shang-Chi issue number 10, The Five Weapon Society Unites. Overall, killer book. This is more of an honorable mention. I think you should definitely jump on it if you at all have a shred or an ounce of just curiosity about Shang-Chi. I highly recommend it. It's a good book. This one is fun as well. The family is back together, even though they got to break some rules, which is very evident that Shang-Chi does not like that, but he has to for the greater good to stop his grandfather. And we get a mention in the book, a little bit of foreshadowing, that Shang-Chi needs to fucking figure it out. And he needs to chill out because he is the son of the father that's, his dad's fucking baddie. And so he was power hungry. And you would think that he's got it, that he wouldn't have that in him, but he has his father's blood in him. And so there has been the grandfather definitely makes a case that he needs to be careful. That the reason why he's trying to kill him is because he has his father's greed for power in him. And we have a little bit of foreshadowing within solicitations. The 10 rings are going to be making an appearance. I think that's what's about to happen. So we may have an actual villainous Shang-Chi in a couple issues from now. So, Marcus Toe, I love him on this. I'm not gonna shit talk him at all. His artwork is fantastic in this book. Previous artist was better, I'm just saying.
I'm not gonna let it go.
I'm not, because I'm pissed. They were doing such a good job, and even the writer was like, "Sorry, sad to see you go." And I'm like, "Man, I would have fought tooth and nail to keep that artist on the book."
You don't know that he didn't.
Doesn't feel like he did.
Idea. How could you even tell if it felt like he did or not?
You can see it, just feel it in the pages. Anyway, Shang-Chi issue 10, very good. We're still fighting the monsters that if they get like your blood, they clone themselves and make more. So pretty cool. He busts his brother out of jail, and they're back into going to Lo Tao, the land of Lo Tao, I think is the name of it. So it's pretty good. I liked it. All right, let's jump over to DC with Superman Action Comics issue 1041.
I wasn't very happy with this.
I wasn't either.
So the first few pages.
Wait, before you even get into it,
okay.
Just tell me right off the bat, because I know it's gonna. I knew the minute I opened this book, I was like, I'm surprised I haven't gotten a phone call. Where's our artist? It's 2 issues.
That was it. That's all I gave him. 2 issues.
Does he get any more?
No, I don't think so. I think that was it. I'm looking right now, but I think that's it. I think he gets a couple of covers, but that's it.
What the?
Dude, I don't know. I don't understand. Like, I'm
already disinterested in this book, and the writing. Like, this story was not that good. I mean, there was some gravity. Like, when the people of the planet were like, "Yo, Midnighter, you can't do that," and he's like, "I don't care. I want to get my boyfriend." And he's like, "No, yeah, I don't understand. You're gonna kill everybody." That was cool, but I mean, there were parts where I was just like, I would start reading, and I'm like, I don't know what is going on. Like, you're throwing names and phrases and words that I have not read once. At least I don't remember reading. And so, like, it's like when the Tolau Taupo is released from the Lot Loop Leap Loop, then Superman, and I'm like, I just got Superman. What are we talking about?
It's just to confirm, it does look like we have 3 different artists on the next 3 issues. So that'll mean a total of 5 issues, 5 different artists. Right. That we know of so far, because that's just the end of solicitations.
I apologize for interrupting. Go ahead.
The first couple pages were cool, with Midnighter like beating the shit out of people and then barfing and passing out. That was funny.
Yep.
But the rest of it was just sort of like, what? I feel like the atmosphere of Warworld is gone without Federici down there drawing the caves and shit.
Agreed.
And it felt very, I mean, literally, look how bright it is the whole time. Like, it's,
yeah.
All these pages are yellow and orange. Like, I understand there's supposed to be fires down there so you can see, but...
No, it was like dark and gloomy with Federici on it. And also, the art just felt very flat. It just felt flat.
It did. I thought it was cool that they're showing how the legend of Kal-El is being spread by the Philosians or whatever underneath. But I would say that of all of the issues since we started the actual War World saga, this is the one that made me feel the most disconnected. Yeah, like to me, this is a bad Superman. That is what? Why is he so fucking wide?
Thick, boy, he's thick.
Ugh, I don't know.
You know what? I will say this, and I just want to make a comparison. When we started this, right? When the War World ships were crashing into Earth, and John and Superman were going to save them, and they found Kryptonians on the ship. Like, we are so disconnected from that vibe. I remember reading it and being like, oh, shit, this is cool. Like, we're... Yeah. And then I feel personally, and this is just my opinion. I'm not trying to project anything on you. I know you have your own. I felt like the minute we got to War World, the tone of the book changed so quickly. And I don't think that's because I'm not attributing it to the fact that Superman is weakened and he doesn't have his powers and he's, kind of a shell of himself. I don't think that at all. It just felt like we needed to know so much the minute we hit War World, and I'm like, and not even, I feel like you have the same thought because you read Superman and the Authority to get up to pace with these characters, and even you in our reviews, you were like, I don't know why I had to read that. Like nothing's really really transferring over. So I just feel like this is the lowest part, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like this has been slowly trending downward, and then we kind of missed a step here. It will probably take a considerable amount of pain for me to deviate from a Philip Kennedy Johnson book, regardless of what it is. So there's no real worry there. The other complaint about this book for me is that if you're going to give me a backup, make it good, and I cannot get into these Martian Manhunter backups. And he's a character I really want to know about, and the 50s pulpy sort of atmosphere that we've gotten from this so far, I couldn't even get through. I couldn't even read this one. I did 2 pages and was like, "No,
right." Well, yeah, this is a miss. I guess I should have paid attention more. The fact that Federici's name wasn't even on the book, which should have been like a massive red flag. So, I'm bummed. I'm a little bummed.
Yeah.
All right, Detective Comics 1058. In short, the penultimate issue was more of a climax than this issue.
Yep.
It was like, oh, that was all the action. Here was all the action. This is just kind of clean up, and let's get on to the next arc. And it felt incredibly rushed in my opinion, which is odd to say because we've been getting this book weekly forever now. And to say that the ending feels rushed, I think is a travesty, in my opinion. I've been saying that a lot tonight.
I don't feel that strongly. I don't.
Okay.
I feel like the pacing was fine. This was a little bit of a wrap-up issue, but I have been an apologist for this book since it started this run. And I'll say the same thing I say every week, is I think this will read wonderfully in a collected edition together when you're reading all 12 parts together. I don't think this will feel particularly rushed. This will just feel like, oh yeah, we wrapped it up, cool.
Yeah.
But comics is a issue by issue art, and so by that standard, I do feel like it was a little bit of a miss. It just sort of felt like, okay, Batman's here, everything's fine now. Never mind, we're good.
Right.
That aspect of the wrap up felt a little weak. It's like, well, come on, like, so the Bat family is just totally useless without him? Like, we can't do anything?
Well, and that's been the criticism. I mean, right? Like, the other people that we watch here on YouTube, the community here on YouTube have kind of said that. Robbie's been very vocal about that. Like, and he literally said that. Like, Batman would have had this done in 3 issues. And he's Robbie is a very seasoned reader of Batman comics in DC. And so, I'm not saying I jump on that boat, but we've heard that criticism from multiple creators within our community, and I think that's a valid point for them to say. They've got more experience than we do when it comes to DC books. But I understand the other side of the coin when you say, like, I would love to get a book that's Bat family centric, and I think that's, I agree too. And I think that's our greenhorn, right? Like that's what we want, because we're interested in learning about those characters. Whereas it feels like a lot of the community, more seasoned community, wants Detective Comics to be a Bruce Wayne book, and let the other members become supporting characters in this book and or other books.
Yeah. Well, and I get that too, because most of the other supporting characters now have their own books.
Right.
Batgirls have their own book. Harley has her own book. Nightwing has his own book.
Right.
I will say this though, the finale for the backup, is so goddamn good and so fucking sad that this was almost my pick of the week only because of the finale.
The backup.
Of the backup.
Wow.
The point that Matthew Rosenberg has been trying to tell us all along is a point that I think, I don't know. It made me very emotional, very frustrated and irritated, but also I was just damn, that's so good. It's a story that we've been saying forever since comic books have been around, is what's real. This is not, sometimes it's you have to do the suspension, what is I trying to say, suspension of disbelief, because it's okay, what about the everyday people? You can't really think about them because their lives are just fucked. There's no way that this could ever be a realistically real world. This would be a disgusting dystopia for everyday living people.
Right.
And that's literally what this is about. Since I know you're not going to read it, and most people that have been reading it, I'm sure, have already read it. What?
No, go ahead. No, continue.
Did you go back and read it all?
No, what I was going to say is, if it gets a trade or a hardcover or whatever, I will partake.
They're not going to do that just for a backup.
You don't think so?
Oh, of course not.
I think they will.
It would be 2 issues long at the most.
Yeah. Just give me a little thin. Just
I'm going to do that.
Wafer thin.
I don't even want to spoil the ending for those that don't get it or want to read it on their own. It's bleak. I want to talk about it later on, but the idea that it doesn't matter how much our heroes care or try to intervene, this in a world like this that we live in and that we've made for these characters, there's just not enough room for the everyday person to live a good life.
So would you say it's the perfect definition of what Gotham is?
Well, it depends on what your interpretation of Gotham is.
Okay.
Because especially that's the story that everyone's screaming about right now, is oh my god, DC is not this dark, Batman is not supposed to be this dark, Gotham is not supposed to be hell incarnate, oh, it's not this dark. And it's well, okay, but that is the story, the version that's being told right now. I know that maybe you don't like that, but whatever version of Gotham that people have in their minds post The Dark Knight to now, this really dark, creepy, even though obviously that was done in the 80s with Frank Miller and Dark Knight Rises, but we're doing it again. And yes, I would say if your version of Gotham is this dark hellscape where it's the seediest, most awful city in America to live in, then yeah, this is a really good interpretation of what that city is like.
Okay.
But I think it's way more than that. I think that this is a comic that has a lot to say, that is not just about comic living, about real life too, and about the people that get lost in the machinery of corporate America, or just just the machine of the world in general.
The machine, yeah.
I would say that if this backup was a normal magazine, it would be top 5 of the year so far for me. Easy. I mean, it will probably be in my 2022 top 10 best stories of the year.
Alrighty.
Very good.
Read it. I will. Okay.
You will.
All right. Next up, we have Robin issue number 12, The Demon Within. I still hold by my prediction that Alfred is coming back, even though right now it's been like, no, I didn't want to bring him back. But yeah, right.
Yeah, but it's gonna be. We don't want to bring him back because the resurrection pits right now will make them all funky. Well, they'll just fix the pits and then it won't be funky, and then they'll bring him back.
Right. That or well, the way I looked at it was so Damien goes to resurrect Alfred, and when he gets there, he's met by his self-doubting future self, and he has his his fight with his inner demons, and then potentially with his mother. And before when he gets to the point where he's actually going to resurrect Alfred, he smashes the vial on the tombstone, and she's like, "Why didn't you do it?" It's like, because the pits will make him more in agony and mess him up. And the way I look at it is, he broke it. It's going to seep into the ground, and probably after Shadow War, we'll see a hand just come out the ground, and it happened. And maybe even he'll be a villain. Who knows? I don't know.
That would be awful.
House of Nerd Show, what's up, man? Thanks for coming on. So yeah, I overall, we're moving in another direction, right? But for me, and again, we're very novice DC readers, the hook at the end was not entirely very grabbing, in my opinion.
Well, no, because I'm not super interested in this Shadow War event.
Or Ra's al Ghul. I'm not.
I don't have a problem with Ra's al Ghul. I just don't.
It's not that I don't have a problem with him. I'm just saying, like, I don't know much about the character, and like, if it hit better, let us know in the comments. Like, did that hook hit harder for more seasoned DC readers? Because for me, it was like, okay, well, we're just kind of recycling a plot line, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. That's what it felt like. Like, all right, we already did this with his mother. Now we're going to do it with him. I don't know. So
yeah, no, I get that.
It was much more of an honorable mention. So we'll see what happens in Shadow War. But so far, I'm kind of starting to fall off the Williamson train, just a hair, just a hair.
Whoa.
I know.
You heard it here first, guys. He hates Joshua Williamson and won't
be
reading the new Dark Crisis because of how much he.
No, I'm gonna. Jesus Christ! Can we move on? Image Comics, Department of Truth, issue number 17.
That's Nate's pick of the week.
I will say this was almost my pick of the week.
Yeah.
It was very close.
This isn't the strongest pick of the week that we've ever had. It's still it's a great book. It's a great book.
Right.
I love the ability that Tynion has to just immerse the collective cultural conscience of America into a book. Like, it's, I don't know. I'm the kind of person that never even really got into conspiracy theories, and when I did, it was mainly to like try to debunk people. And the one that always frustrated me the most was people thinking that we faked the moon landing. And so dealing with this issue and then just going, fuck, man, like, no, it's not true. But like,
why can't we see the flag, Nate? Why can't we see the flag?
Why can't you see what flag?
You can't see the flag. You take your telescope out, you can't see the flag.
You can't see it from that far, and you don't know where to look. So, how about that?
Just saying.
It's because you don't know where to look. I don't know. I'm not sure that I have a ton to really say more about that besides the fact that it just felt so real. Like, it felt.
Yes. That's perfect.
It felt real, and so like the idea that like you've got, and this, I feel like this book works the best in this era of the Red Scare, of the fresh beginnings of the Cold War, post World War II, of Department of Truth in the United States versus a Department of Lies in Russia.
Yeah.
It just fits perfectly.
Fuck it, dude. Ah, oh, damn it.
That's the guy's pick of the week.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Oh, you go ahead.
No, you said it perfectly. This felt real. Tynion has done such a great job of taking the historical voice, the tone, and then just matching it up, perfectly with this narrative that he's building with the Department of Truth. And having the counter opposite with the Russians, I thought was really good. But just reading it, it's like, holy shit, did did we fake the moon landing? You know what I mean? Like it, you know, in this world, it's so believable. And I guess I don't know if it's because, you know, I went to college for history or what, but it just felt, I don't know. It just felt real. Like you said, like Tynion did his homework, you know, and I think that's to be commended. And, you know, the artwork wasn't, you know, out of this world, but it was good. And it read like a movie. Like I could see this as an HBO miniseries or a legit movie, and I could just see them just word for word, panel for panel, making this into a visual, you know, putting this in the visual spectrum, you know, audio, visual, video spectrum.
So if I can wax poetic for just a second here and tell you that I actually decided this was my pick of the week only 6 pages into the book, and I found the part that made me do it. The very beginning of this book is the main, I don't remember the main guy that's over the Department of Truth, but him and Oswald are in and briefing Richard Nixon. He's only been his 3rd day in office. They're catching him up to speed that, hey, there's this secret organization called the Department of Truth. This is what we do. And he's talking about right now the Department of Truth versus the Department of Lies in Russia and how they're fighting against each other on trying to control the consciousness of the world, essentially. And he says, the 2 stories cannot coexist. At some point, we'll hit a tipping point, and one of these 2 stories will become history. Which, of course, we see later on that the moon landing doesn't actually become history and isn't happening until at the very moment, and then it is essentially materializing out of nothingness. Right. It is literally happening, even though they didn't really send anyone up there. Well, they did, because they start appearing, because people are starting to believe it as they're watching it. And as more people watch it and are telling other people about it, even more people are believing it and it's becoming real. But he says at that moment, it would not just become history moving forward, it would reshape our history backwards through the end of the war, possibly backwards to our very founding. And I was like, that's just so interesting that, like, you could do that. Like, that this idea that whatever we thought America was, it never really was, because the collective consciousness thinks it's different. And then what really kicked me right in the absolute nuts was he said, what would happen is we would become the failed capitalist dystopia that their propaganda actually purports us to be. And I was just like, that's what we're living right now.
Yeah.
We're really living in a fucked up post-capitalist dystopia that Russia has been telling us we were going to live in for 50 years. And I literally had to sit there and go, is this real? What is happening? Like, I don't know. It just the way that Tynion was able to weave that in and out and just say, like, well, he basically literally says, you know how we'll know if Russia was winning is if in 50 years we're going to be living in a post-capitalist dystopia where life is just as shitty as the Russians said it was. And I'm like, this is why everyone from the 50s thought America was great, and now we're like, what the fuck were you talking about? It was horrible. It's because it was great then, and Russia's retroactively fixed history. That's what it is, I'm telling you.
I like it.
So because it mind fucked me that hard, I was like, okay, well, this is my pick of the week, and I've only got six pages into it.
All right, so I'm gonna. Shit. It's my pick of the week, but it's not. I'm gonna keep it Nate's pick of the week.
Oh wow,
it is my pick of the week though, but it's not. And the reason why it's not is because I want to talk about the other book with that much gusto.
Okay.
Because I think it deserves it, but because this is already your pick of the week, right? And the other thing we have to talk about, we haven't talked about this. If you live in the DFW area, Lee over at our LCS Collected Comics and Games is now going to feature our picks of the week in the store. So I want there to be two.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah, in my my pick of the week is good, but you're totally right. Department of Truth issue number 17 was a total mindfuck. Like, it's like, that GIF of or GIF, however you want to say it, of the guy counting the cards and the equations. Like that's this mood of this book for sure. So, All right, next up we have Demons, issue number 1 from Scott Snyder and Capullo. How was it?
Look at this beautiful Momoko cover.
Peach Momoko cover, very nice.
I wasn't gonna get this until I was bullied by
Everybody.
Collected employees and you alike. And it's right.
Right.
So, this is the Comixology first book from Snyder and Capullo that I think came out probably about 6 months ago. They're going to do like the first 6 issues on Comixology and then they'll come to print. If this gets collected, I will probably pick it up that way. I don't see myself picking it up after this issue. The basic premise is that at the beginning of time, there were, I don't remember, the halo and the horn or something like that, and like they were little meteorite type things that crashed onto the earth, and the halo were good places, like they turned into oases in the middle of a desert or lands rich with food and shit like that. And the horn places became bad places where like demons festered and shit like that. And so this story is basically setting up that our main character, the female that's on this cover, is going to, her dad passes away and it turns out he was a secret demon hunter, and it seems like she's going to hunt demons with his maybe a demon partner, looks like a demon, but we're not sure. So that's the basic premise of the book. It was very exposition heavy, to the point where I got fatigued about halfway through and had to put it down and come back. I do think the story is good. I would even say that the amount of exposition is necessary to set us up where to have as much understanding as I think Scott Snyder wants us to have by the end of issue 1. So I don't know how you fix that, but I got really fatigued. This was like this had more words in a single issue than like a Silver Age comic did. So lots of exposition. The artwork is good. I would not say it's Capullo's best work, but it's still pretty good. I actually feel like it was. I don't mean to be rude. I feel like the coloring just didn't quite fit the style. But the story was interesting enough that I kind of want to see where it goes. But I don't think I'll be picking it up issue by issue. I'm not that invested in it. But I will say also, half of this book is extras. So like there's a welcome page where they talk to you about the book. They show you Capullo's pencils and inks for the cover. They show you how Capullo styled and drew his demon character to scale to make sure he made sense in ratios. And then literally the entire script, first issue, is reprinted in the back. And I literally mean all 23 pages of the script are in the back.
Oh,
wow. Which I did not read through, but I think that would be cool. Especially if you're like aspiring comics creator. Like this is a treasure trove to have. That's like cool. Literally Scott Snyder giving you the script. I think that's awesome. $5.99 Dark Horse book, but a peach cover too. I'll take it. I'm happy I got it. But we'll continue this in trade, not in single issues.
All right, nice. All right, our last book of the night, Ghost Cage, issue number 1.
That's Jim's pick of the week.
Yep, this is my pick of the week. Why you gotta say that? Why you gotta do it? All right,
buddy.
Listen. Department of Truth is already gonna get the tag. We gotta give another book. We gotta be fair.
I agree.
You know, and I think, and I'm being fair. I'm being genuine. Ghost Cage was my pick of the week, even though this week was a C for me. This is the closest thing outside of Ultra Mega that reminds me of a Trigger anime. Kill La Kill. I mean, there's a ton of them. It just feels like that. I mean, you're thrown into a situation that you're kind of like, wait, what's the premise? But it's so fast paced and so like, come on, let's go. Get with it, dude. We got shit to do. Like, that's what this book is. And I will probably regret saying this. I thought the artwork was absolutely phenomenal and fantastic.
Ooh, nice.
This would have gotten my pick of the week without hesitation. Do I want to go here? Do I want to say this?
Oh, do it.
Do I want to fuel this fire?
Do it.
It pains me to say this.
Do it.
Shut up. It absolutely pains me to say this. Like, it hurts my bones. Okay? This book would have been just rank S flawless victory if it had been colored. I'm sorry. This is what the dark side feels like.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was really good. And the artwork was so detailed. I love the story. I love where we're going. And the fact that I'm like, wait, what are we doing? Where is this going? It's the intrigue that I like. And then the artwork is really fantastic. But man, if this had been colored, I think it would have been even more like, wow, like it would have been even more metal, dude. Like it would have been even more killer. Because that's the thing. Trigger animes are so vibrant and so just lush with detail when it comes to color. And you have the detail in this book. I mean, it is phenomenal. Like the artwork in this book is just crazy good. And I can only imagine if it was colored that it would be as intense. And I will say that Ghost Cage #1 was intense. Steven says I have to check this out. It gives you ultra mega vibes. No, it does. 100% it does. And it's definitely like, it also has like that Mega Man feel in the sense that like we've got stages, right? Like first we're going to fight this boss, then we're going to fight this boss, then we're going to fight this boss. But you have to do it in a certain order. It's got that vibe. It's got comedic relief. It's got an intriguing storyline. It's got mystery. And I think the best part about it is that, again, because it's an independent book, it can do whatever the fuck it wants. And I think that's the beauty of independent books, is just like, I lay the ground rules. And Mike says, seriously, got to pick up East of West. I really want to. You're right. I gotta go ahead and do that. I'll talk to Ron.
Also, Mike, I wrote down that guy. I'm very intrigued at
Noah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really dug the book. I thought it was a lot of fun. I'm glad I picked it up. I'm going to be subbing, or at least I'm going to give it an issue 2. It definitely pulled me enough to get an issue 2, maybe even an issue 3. I'm intrigued because I just want to know what the hell's going on. Because like at some point, at first I was like, and it wasn't even like I was confused to the point where I didn't want to pick up the book anymore. I was confused, so that's why I kept on reading to see if there would be any nugget of like where we're going. And I feel like we have that, but the voices of the characters really came through the page. My only critique of the book, and it just hurts so bad, is I wish it was colored. I wish it had color, because I think it would even. What up, Jaden? I think it would have popped up. It would just popped even more. Yeah. And then I think if it had color, I think I would have called you immediately and said, "You need to go pick up Ghost Cage. Like you need to do it right now."
Yeah, I still feel like I probably will pick it up, especially next week. As being as light as it is, I've got a little bit of room for it. So,
yeah, I would.
See if I can get my eyes past it and not get a headache while I read it.
Let me just kind of give somewhat of a premise. We've got this guy who I believe is a scientist who is in charge of this dystopian / utopian power facility, and he has created a new form of energy. But in order for the energy to surpass, quite literally, levels of energy, it has to fight them one by one, level by level. So the first energy that this new creation fights is coal. It's this giant coal monster. And then the second level is hydro, water power. Yeah. And so on and so forth. So we're continuing. And then they show kind of the levels, like the last one I think is nuclear. So it's just this very odd, weird concept. But it totally has anime vibes. It has the Trigger anime vibes. And I will say, reading it, even though it's confusing, like I don't know quite where I am, it was easy to read, even though there was a lot of setup. The words and the writing flowed so that it didn't feel like I was like, oh, this is a #1. I don't know if we're going to continue to go on or not. So anyway, Mike says Batman / Miracle Molly story arc. How do you say that? Homo Deuce 1 Sapiens / 21 lessons for the 21st century equal Department of Truth. Yeah?
He's talking about the
collective,
Harari
Insanity
books.
Collective. Wait, what?
He's talking about the Harari books. He's saying that the Batman Miracle Molly story seems like it was inspired by that particular book by that author, and then that one continues. Keep up, right? Try to keep up.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Tertiary conversation happening here.
Small brain. Anyway, Ghost Cage is my pick of the week.
That's Jim's pick of the week.
So, Lee, I will get you our PNG, a proper one. I forgot that, so I will do that after the show so that you can print out... What? What?
Forget that.
I mean, dude, I've been dealing with a toddler that's been having constipation for the past 2 days. It's been rough.
Mind. That's the worst.
Yeah, so give me a break.
He's been having to scoop out poop out of a butthole.
No, he hasn't pooped. I'm sorry. You know what? We're not talking about this right now on this channel. We'll talk to you about it later. Anyway, that's why, Lee, I'm going to get you the PNG so that you can print it out properly, because those are our picks of the week. That's it for this show. We appreciate everybody that's here live. Thank you so much for in the chat. If you're watching this as a previous episode, thank you for watching this as a previous episode. If you're not already, please hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, give us a like, and we will see you guys this Wednesday for New Comic Book Day for the last week in March. Yeah. And it is also quite itty bitty. Toddler wizard. Anyway, it's gonna be a good week. There are some books in there. I do have a fire Peach Momoko cover coming in Ghost Rider, and I said I was gonna give it an issue 2, so that will be happening. But anyway, thanks again everybody for watching, and as always, read more comics. We'll see you guys in the next one. If any comic book news breaks over the week, you know we're gonna hit it up. You know we're gonna make a video. Make sure we keep you guys in the loop. And Jaden, it is okay. We're glad that you made it. We're glad that we get to say bye to you. At least we get to see that, you know. But thanks again, everybody. And we'll see you guys in the next one. What are you going to say?
I said we'll save the spankings for next time.
Oh, my God. We'll see you guys later. Bye, guys. You're fine.